and welcome to my channel. Today I've got a pretty quick and really quite easy springtime look for you, so let's get started. Now, because this look is so simple and easy, I'm going to just show you the full thing instead of just the eye look. I've already done skincare as well as SPF, so I'm just immediately going on to color, which in my case is a BB cream. Personally, I always prefer, especially when the weather gets nicer and warmer and more sweaty, to just go for a BB cream rather than a foundation. I do have one foundation, Dior Forever by Dior, obviously, which is obviously really expensive. That one does look very nice, but I don't use it very often because it's so expensive. Mostly just prefer to use a BB cream because I feel with most foundations, there's just this thing. What do I have on my cheek? Oh, that's a birthmark. Anyway, point is, yeah, I always feel like with a lot of foundations, you feel like you're looking nice, and then you're out and about in the warm weather outside, and then you end up looking into a mirror, and you're like, how long have I looked like that? You know, like this. Yeah, it's not nice. So what I prefer to do is to just make sure that I don't end up looking absolutely terrible by just using a BB cream, because if that starts to fade, it's a lot less like flaky and obvious and weirdly patchy than the average foundation. Next up, we're getting a little bit closer so I can show you my concealer. By the way, I am doing my face first because this look is going to be so simple that there's really not going to be much of a risk of, you know, fallout from eyeshadow and ruining my face base. So it's safe to do your foundation and everything, or BB cream, or whatever you're using, to do that first. But obviously if you prefer to do your eyeballs first, then that's fine as well. By the way, my concealer is just Catrice Cosmetics. And the BB cream was Tinted Skin Veil by NYX. But I really like these products just because they're pretty low weight, they're natural, and they don't wear off weirdly. But especially with this concealer in particular, I really love it because it has enough coverage to hide any darkness under the eyes. But it's, you know, it's see-through enough, I guess. Yeah, like it's mild enough that it still blends very beautifully even with natural skin. Like even if you're not even wearing a BB cream beneath it. If it's just your natural skin, it still blends beautifully, so you don't get that weird result where you have like basic skin and then like this extremely like even patch of skin underneath your eyes. I always just feel like it looks a bit off. Now for powder, I am actually going in with a powder, or an eyeshadow brush with powder, yeah, right beneath my eyes first, because especially when I'm wearing a lot of sunscreen, I always feel like this particular area just has a lot of fine lines, and I really want to set it well there, because otherwise it just becomes horrifically creasy within like 12 seconds. Now one thing I feel like I do have to warn you about with powder is no matter what you do, in summer at least, for my oily skin as a fact, well, mixed to oily skin I guess, but anyways, it will get oily, it will get shiny, you will need to repowder during the day. So don't make the mistake that I used to do when I was younger than now. I used to just go in with like half the jar of powder because I wanted to stay matte. And then I would get greasy anyways, but the powder would be like very thick and weird looking by that time. Don't make that mistake, just apply a normal amount of powder and, you know, accept the fact that you're going to have to like reapply it in a while. Then some easy contouring, just slightly. By the way, I haven't used this brush for contouring like ages, but I used it a little bit back for a special effects look. Basically, I'm using this brush for the sole reason that it was already dirty and my huge fan brush is not yet dirty, so I didn't want to use that one. But yeah, still works pretty well. Now near my nose I am actually using a small fan brush, because doing a nose contour with a humongously large stippling brush, that's just really not a good idea. Now for blush, I'm using the palest shade from this little palette as opposed to the Shea blush I use very often. Just because this one has a little bit of shimmer in it. So I feel like this gives me a little bit more glow back. And while that's just settling, I'm going to do my eyebrows. This is by the way the Ink Brow by Urban Decay, and I can tell you after using it for a couple of weeks now, it's so good, like seriously. Especially if you have the morning shift and you don't want to like have to focus on your eyebrows at 4 in the morning. It's just absolutely perfect because you apply it, and as long as you don't particularly wash your eyebrows, it'll just last for like 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Like, it's awesome. Next up, the eye look. We're just going to start off with a little bit of eye primer. This is why I didn't apply a lot of powder on my eyelids, because, you know, cream over powder is usually not the best way to go. But if you, like me, actually are using a primer with some color to it, you can also use this to clean up the eyebrows, conveniently. Then onto actual color, so I've come a little bit closer so I can properly show you what I'm gonna do. But I really want to do something with like nice, cute springtime pastel shades. Amongst which is the shade Blue. This is one by Ellis Faas. It's a cream eyeshadow, obviously. But yeah, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with it, because it's a bit difficult to explain. It's basically a sort of winged eye look thingy. So the shade, like I said, I'm just going to apply in a wing shape. Sort of like a cut crease, but without the actual crease being filled in yet. Yeah. This you could actually totally use without an eye base. But I also want to apply some powder eyeshadow, so that's why I added the base beneath it. And the brush I'm using is just a very thin, flat eyeshadow brush, so I really get a lot of control on where I put the edge of this product. Now that it's remotely even on both eyes, I'm going to move on to powder eyeshadow. This is a very cheap Catrice palette, but it's perfect for this sort of thing. It has really nice spring colors. I'm just going to start off with the brow bone highlight. It's the palest matte shade in the palette, and I'm just going to apply it quite heavily, well, on my brow bone, obviously. Now I want to make it a little bit more interesting by adding an extra color. I'm going to go for pink because my clothing also has pink in it, so I feel like it's suitable. And I'm just going to go over the top edge of the wing look cut crease thingy. I'm not sure what to call this. And just carefully blend it. I just want a bit of a line. I don't need this to be perfectly like blended or anything. I just want the pink to exist basically. And obviously, I probably don't need to explain this to you, but you can just use whatever color you want, obviously. My idea was basically the blue sky with whatever flower color, springtime, pastel, flower colors suited my outfit. You could also do this with orange, with purple, with whatever color you want. Like, it's really entirely up to you. Just whatever color you're vibing with is fine for the eye look. And this shade is also going to go on the bottom eye. I hope you can see the difference. I've already done it on this side. Just to give a little bit more shadow down there. And a little bit color. Then in the inner corner I'm going to do a pale golden highlight. Because the rest of my face is quite matte and I do want a little bit of shimmer on there. I'm also applying the same eyeshadow on my cupid's bow. And then just some eyeliner. Now we're moving on to mascara instead of falsies, because I wanted to keep this lightweight. Obviously the eyeliner is not very much lightweight, but I hadn't used black liner in so long that I hadn't realized my black eyeliner is completely empty, basically. So I had to literally scrape the dried out, you know, syrupy mess of leftover liner out of the bottom of the container, which I don't recommend, but I didn't have any other one. So yeah, it is what it is. And with some mascara it immediately looks a lot better in my opinion. I'm just going to apply some pencil on my waterline, and then the eyes are done. Then for my lips I'm going to go for sort of a pinkish nude, sort of the shade of the little crease blending up there. Okay, that's also on there. And then one last thing I always do, summer and winter, but especially when it's like warmer outside. Setting spray, and then the makeup is entirely done. And that leaves us with the final results. I gotta say I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. I gotta admit that cool shades like blue are hit or miss with me, but I feel like the darker my hair gets, like the darker red my hair gets, like the more I can get away with cool tones on my face without looking dead. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I hope you liked the look. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It would really help me out because it makes YouTube suggest my videos more often to new people. If you don't want to miss any of my future videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. I do makeup tutorials, vlogs and whatever else strikes my fancy. And for now, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope to see you next time. Bye!